So often when we think about moving to the Caribbean, we think beautiful islands and sandy beaches, and it's a mistake that I often fall into of talking about the islands. But
Mhm.
today on the line, I am joined by the most beautiful of souls who is in Belize, which is a destination that many of you reach out to me about, and I haven't given enough coverage. So apologies to all of you who want to move to Belize, but don't you worry, today Vernita is going to do the destination justice and so much more. Vernita, whereabouts in Belize are you?
Right now, I am in a small village called Forest Home, and it is in the south of Belize. So this is the part that of Belize that people forget about. I was actually located in Punta Gorda, which is the last stop, the last bus stop in Belize. I was there for an entire year before moving here to one of the villages. So I'm still in the south, but this is the forgotten about part of Belize.
Wow, it sounds very enticing. And so 10 years ago, did you see yourself being in Belize? Like how did you come to be in Belize? And where are you originally from? Where did you grow up?
I am originally from Michigan. I grew up in actually two different cities, Detroit and Pontiac. So between those two cities is where I'm from originally. Um, 10 years ago, absolutely, I saw myself not in Belize, but in the jungle. I did not know it would be Belize, but I knew it would be a jungle. I had a vision of a jungle 14 years ago, but the seed of Belize was planted over 20 years ago when I was in a relationship and was told that we would be retiring to Belize. I had never heard of Belize before, and back then the internet was still pretty new. So I got out, the almanac, and I did. We had books and encyclopedias, and so I started looking at Belize like, Belize, where is Belize? And I saw that it was still part of the Americas. And I was told because the person I was with had was well traveled, and I was told of how beautiful this land was, and how nice the people were here, how beautiful the land and the people were, and of the different resources, and that we could live off of the land. So that was a seed that was planted over 20 years ago. And so when I got the vision of the jungle, that's when it all started to come together.
Amazing, amazing. And I have to confess, as we go through this conversation, I feel like I'm just going to have to step back and let you talk because your story is just so inspiring. And I just feel like whatever you have to say just needs to come through. Because one of the things that I love, love, love about you is when we were chatting before, and I was like, so what do you do in Belize? Like some people would say, I run an Airbnb or I work remotely, but that's not your answer. Tell us, what are you doing in Belize? What do you do?
I am healing. I am in Belize. I am healing. That is what my job is right now. I 100% from the time I wake up in the morning to the time that I'm rested or resting. Even while I'm resting, my body is in healing mode. So that has been my job for the last almost year and a half that I've been here, is to allow my body to do what it does naturally, to not get in the way, but to assist, to connect more with who I am, who the Creator has made me to be, who living in America had disconnected me from. So I am healing to be whole, to be able to help others to do the same.
Love that. And tell me, what is it about Belize that makes that space for healing a reality, or that environment in which healing can be realized and prioritized more accessible than it would have been anywhere else?
This land is blessed. This land is amazing. It is, to me, it is protected. Um, if you look at Belize and where it is, there's a gulf there, and there are barrier reefs. So this land, even if it sees a hurricane, it's not damaging like anywhere else in the Caribbean. It's just for its location. Um, the resources, nature is still here. It has not been destroyed by man in some parts. There are a lot of parts, the the parts that others would want to go to that have been commercialized or Americanized, the tourist parts, even those, there's a blessing in those. But where I am in the South, there is still much culture down here. This is where the Mayans were. There are many ruins here. The trees, the plants, the birds, just nature is still here. It has not been raped like the rest of the world has. Some of the parts of Belize has not been. There's still thousands and thousands of acres of jungle here. So this land is a blessing. It's healing. The sun, just being out in the sun, it's healing. The water, all of it, the elements are here. So it's very healing. It's a very healing.
I love that. And so one of the things that I'm curious about is, I guess on two levels. One, it takes a certain amount of awareness to realize that there is the need to heal.
Mhm.
But on top of that, to feel entitled to prioritize your healing, that's an even further step. So how did you get to that point of realizing that you needed to heal and then deciding, okay, this is what I need to do? Like, it's not optional, it's not self-care, it's an act of survival, it's an act of being me.
I have always been on a journey of wellness. I'm a nurse, a licensed practical nurse. I'm also an herbalist. My herbalist journey didn't start until I was actually fired in the middle of, well, at the beginning of the pandemic. And it was the best thing that had ever happened to me. It was when I got the call, the administrator, I think she was upset because the joy that she heard in my voice when she told me that I would not, she didn't want to come back. And it was like, oh, thank you. But that was the best thing that ever happened to me because it allowed me to focus on me. Again, my journey, the health journey and the way that my disdain for the modern health system started as a child. So had always been aware from a child and having digestive issues and being dismissed by the doctors. I didn't know if it was because I was a child and the whole not being heard as a child. And then even into adulthood, I suffered from recurrent rupturing cysts and endometriosis for years. So I endured a lot of pain throughout my life. And being the guinea pig, where the doctors really didn't know. And I knew the doctors didn't know. I'm an intuitive. So I knew the doctors didn't know what was going on and they weren't listening to me tell them what was going on in my own body. So I had a disdain for the medical system for a long time. A few years ago, my health had gotten so bad and I was 260 pounds. My blood pressure was through the roof. My ankles were huge. My arms were the size of what my legs are now. That was the size of my arms. I was struggling to push the cart through to take care of my patients. And the doctor was giving me medication and trying to diagnose me with this and that, things where I wasn't claiming, like, that's not what is going on with me. There was something going on inside of me. And my body was giving me the signs, the migraines, the different things. My skin was the acne that was happening with my skin, the dryness on my feet, just different things that my body was showing me that I wasn't connecting because I was not able to. The food that I was eating that had calcified, or the brain fog that it caused from the food to what I was drinking, even the air that I was breathing, it was toxic. I had created an environment on the inside that matched the outside. It was totally toxic on the inside that I was carrying. I was bloated, inflamed, and I was tired. I stopped taking medication and started getting well. I stopped taking my medication, and the inflammation started going away. And I noticed that. And so in the pandemic, once the pandemic started, I couldn't see my doctor as much. And I was healing myself. I started to heal myself, taking my herbs and listening to me, listening to what spirit was downloading to me as to what herbs that I needed to purchase to start taking. The hawthorn, the hibiscus, hyssop saved my life. Hyssop saved my life and will save others. It's a purging herb, and it started to clean up all of the mucus that was all caught up in my sinuses, to help, and it started to drain that, to help me to think, because the mucus had clogged up even my thought process. So I started taking the herbs, and once things started opening up a little bit, I was able to see my doctor, and she had actually diagnosed me with fibromyalgia because she couldn't figure out what was going on. That's basically what fibromyalgia is, where the doctors can't figure out what's going on, can't put a name to it. So, hey, you got fibromyalgia. That's basically what that is. And so I went to her, and my numbers were perfect. All of my numbers were perfect. And so she's like, oh, the medication is finally working. Didn't know that I had stopped taking all medication, right? So it's like, no, it hadn't been working. I stopped taking it. And she, oh, Vernita, you can't do that. Why not? I did it months ago. I've been doing this for months. Like, that's why my numbers are the way that it is, and I kicked my leg up. I'm like, look at this, no swelling. And I let her know which medication I stopped taking first, and the swelling immediately started going down. It was actually the medication for swelling and inflammation, for water retention. And so she let me know, you're not supposed to take that with this other heart medication. So it was, why would you give that to me if you know that they're not supposed to be combined? You know that causes inflammation. That's even, not only on my heart was it causing issues, it starts to bother the kidney when the heart isn't working well. So these two medications were not doing me any good. They were causing more damage to me, so stop taking them. Yeah, I'm feeling better. Start taking the herbs to supplement, to help my body to heal. I'm feeling better, and I started losing weight. So, she's standing there like, oh no, I'll give you the one that, it's combined and it has no reaction to each other, and it pissed me off. I'm sitting there like, how stupid do you think that I am? And I asked her, so why would I take something else when I have it under control now with what I'm doing now? No, thank you. No, thank you. So then she tried to tell me about something, and it's like, I'm a nurse. I know the game that the doctors play. I know the game that the doctors play. So I sat in there and I fired her. I fired her, and I fired all of my other doctors, because you guys have been testing on me for my entire life and not listening to what I'm telling you is going on within me. I knew that my issue was circulation. My high blood pressure, I knew came from a circulation issue. Why don't you give me something to help with cleaning up the circulation? That never was discussed. Never was discussed circulation. It was never discussed, cleansing or eating properly. It was always, well, here's this medication or here's that medication. Try this one, try that one, which again, only covered up the symptoms my body was giving me that something was wrong. Once I did that, it was like things were, when I say things were falling into place, start falling into place, they were falling into place. I started receiving downloads on what I needed to purchase. Not only what I needed to purchase, but the urgency to get out of that place, to leave. Something that I had been feeling for years and getting told for years, you need to leave, you need to get out. It's time, it's time. That is time. I kept feeling it. I kept hearing it. I began to purchase herbs. I began to I had an apothecary basically. And everything that I purchased has been helping me here. All of the herbs I have now, they have been helping me to heal over the last several years. I didn't know I would even need some of these herbs, but when the time came and spirit was like, you already have it, go get it.
Nice.
And I would be led exactly to where I packed up something and pull it out and use it, utilize it, not even realizing it. I been knew that I would need this at some point on the journey, and I have it. I would always hear you have everything you need. Even here, I would hear you have everything you need. Don't worry, you have everything you need. And it has turned out to be true. It has turned out to be true. On our exit, we have to not worry. In our journey, we have to not worry and know that spirit has us.
For sure, for sure.
And
And I think
our
what's
ancestors
beautiful,
have us.
absolutely.
The DNA that makes up who we are has been through so much, so much. And it has come together in a way that we are now the most powerful that we have ever been in all of our lifetimes. We are such a powerful people. We have to utilize this power, know who we are, and utilize this power now, because we are the change makers. We are the ones, we are the creators, and we are creating the earth now, this new earth that we are in. We are the ones creating that and are at the forefront of it. And that's why leaving is so important. Cleansing is vital once you do leave. It is vital that we cleanse and know the trauma that we endured wherever we're leaving from, you know, because everywhere that we are, we have had to endure some type of trauma, and we need to cleanse from that. In coming here, I knew that I would have to cleanse, I would have to fast. And when I first got here, there was trauma that happened within the first week, immediately within the first week. And even in that, my cleansing that I had to do, I didn't realize the trauma that America caused me. We lock the doors automatically we'll lock a door. That's a trauma effect. We don't even realize that. A lot of those things were coming to the forefront. Like we truly have that healing that we have to have is deep, deep, deep. And I'm thankful to be able to have done it here, to be able to say, screw everybody and everything else. People are scared to do that, and we have to step out of that fear.
But let's take it back for folks, because I remember what it was like, where you would sort of get these sensations, you would have these feelings, you're like, but that's crazy. That makes no sense at all. Like, one, I don't know how that's going to work. Two, I don't know what other people are going to think. Like, there's a whole lot of should and a whole lot of conditioning that we need to be able to get ourselves out of, to even begin to be open to the callings and the nudges and the signs and everything else that comes your way. So if we take it back to the start of the pandemic, which in a way for many people was having the rug pulled out from them. I think there was a real difference between people like, damn, the rug's pulled out. What do I do? I'm falling apart. How do I cope? And those who are like, yay, the rug has gone. Now I can be me. Now, like, the slate is wiped clean. I can get rid of my doctors. I can get rid of my medication. I can change jobs. I can be anywhere. What was it for you that enabled you to be able to take that latter response in a time that for many people was a time of panic and uncertainty? What was it that enabled you to be rooted and know that, okay, right, I'm going to plant my roots now and I'm going to grow in this direction, not that direction?
Already knowing my gifts and already walking in some of them to a certain extent.
How did you know your gifts?
As a child, again, I've known my gifts since I was a child. I've been listening to spirit since I was a child. I've been told that I was crazy since I was a child because of the gifts that I have. And knowing that what the pandemic did for others, because I've been saying wake up for years. For the last 20 years, I've been yelling wake up, trying to get people to wake up. You know, I was one of those where y'all wake up. They lying to us. Stop watching television. It's all a lie. So my journey is I'm just following my journey. It's not something new to me. I knew the pandemic would be the pandemic before it was. Back in 2019, even in 2018, with the different flus that were happening that were taking people out. It's like, y'all forgot about that. Like, y'all forgot about certain things. But that right there, I knew in 2019, listening to international news, I didn't listen to the news that mass media put out. I listened with intent. And when I was following what was going on in China, I knew that it was airborne. And so me telling my family, y'all get ready. I was preparing them in January. Y'all start stocking up, be ready for different things about to happen. And even now, I let them know then that it would be worse before it got better. And when George Floyd happened, my mother was like, is this the worst that you were talking about? I never watched what happened with George Floyd, and even after, nothing after that would traumatize. I knew not to do that, to cause more trauma, because I was about to exit. But I let her know, no, it's going to be worse than that. What I felt and what I saw, because I would get downloads and feelings, it's going to get bad. And I was told to not return for 5 years so that I wouldn't traumatize myself, re-traumatize myself. It's going to get bad over the next several years. And my ability to see that, you know, that foresight. I can't tell you when a certain time that this started, because as I'm healing, memory is coming back. And it's like, man, remember when I was like 3 and telling people that we reincarnate, that and they're like, what? And it's like, yeah, the butterflies told me, you know, and people like, butterflies, you know, and it's like, because I'm energetic, I can feel the energy of different things. And we were once telepathic. We were once able to speak or understand or know what the animals were saying. I'm an intuitive herbalist. The herbs literally speak to me. I can match herbs with people because of that energy. But this is who I am. And what the pandemic allowed was for me to not hide anymore who I was, because I had to hide myself to not be locked up for what I knew, what I saw, you know. And many people are like that now. Many are coming out of their shell and expressing what they know, what they see, what they hear, and not being deemed crazy, because now the majority of people are now knowing that that is true. You know, I've had people to come to me like, you know, I used to think you were crazy until I started seeing spirit myself. Yeah. I accept your apology. Like, come on over on this side now, you know, and don't be afraid, because I had to go through life afraid and not able to talk to people about what was going on within and around all of us. You know, I had to dumb down, basically, because that's where everybody else, and it's not a, you know, no offense, but I literally had to dumb down to deal with life.
Yeah.
You know?
And so what I'm curious about is, for some ways, it's a bit like when you know how to speak a language and you're trying to interact with someone who doesn't. When you know it so well, it's hard to remember what it's like not to be fluent in X, Y, or Z. But given that you've been aware of your gifts, of your calling, of spirit of life for so long and so deeply, are you in a position to how do you express it to people who are kind of on the fence, who are kind of feeling the nudges, but not sure where to go, who are more aware of the societal conditioning than the clear and obvious innate need to just be you?
Just to be.
What can you say to help people navigate that?
To come out of fear. Fear is false evidence appearing real. That's basically what fear is, and that's what it's an energy that some thrive off of.
Mm.
Some thrive off of other people's fear.
Mm-hmm.
And that same energy of fear is what holds us underneath, almost like the water line is where fear is. And we get held underneath. There's air up here. That's where you breathe. This part is where you breathe. Under here, you're held captive. You can't be who you are. So that is where fear is. That's that line. To put it in a way where you can visualize it, but fear is basically false evidence appearing real. Anytime we overcome our fear, we look back like, man, what did I have to be afraid of? You falsified something in your own head and made it real when it wasn't even all of that. So stepping out of fear is something that, number one, you have to do. You have to not be afraid of what other people think. Come out of that, because it's not even about anybody else. Your journey is yours first. Yes, you may be here to help others, but your journey is yours first. It's your lessons to learn. Your lessons will help others, but it's your lessons to learn first. So stepping out of fear is the main thing that I would tell people to do. Listening to yourself is another thing, because so often we have been conditioned to listen outside of ourselves for everything. Let this person tell you, go to work and the boss will tell you, your managers, even TV. People wake up and turn on the TV and allow the news to direct, their day, instead of waking up and stepping outside and seeing that, yes, the sun is shining today, or yes, it's raining. I lived in Michigan where the weatherman was never right. Never. So I learned to not even trust at an early age. Why even trust the weatherman? Go outside, But we have to learn to trust ourselves and know that we have everything that we need. We did not come here. We came here. You were born with a mission. You were born with purpose, and the purpose was not for you to make somebody else rich. That is not your purpose. Your purpose is not to wake up and be in that cycle of 9 to 5 or 7 to 11 or whatever time it is that was not your purpose. We were originally here to take care of this earth. And we have stepped outside of what our true purpose is, and look what happened. Look what has happened. It's evident that the earth has not been taken care of, because the true people that were sent here to take care of the earth we've been preoccupied. And that comes from not listening to us, to ourselves. So stepping out of that fear, not listening to others, not caring about what others think. And that takes a lot. It takes a lot because society has put us against each other in that comparison, that wanting to be like somebody else. No, you be like yourself, but you have to know who you are in order to do that. You know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think one of the things that I find really interesting as well is that in terms of a connection with nature, which in itself is just an extension of a connection with spirit, like the earth is going to be okay. If we're gone, in the same way the dinosaurs went, the earth will keep on surviving, but it's we who are suffering from a lack of groundedness, from a lack of balance, from a lack of awareness. And I think that sort of hamster wheel of like earn more, buy more, consume more, it's completely out of sync with how we are supposed to be. And I would love to know the difference that it's made for you being somewhere where you're away from the nonsense, where you are somewhere where you can connect more. How would you, I mean, because you were already on the journey, you had already started unplugging, but what difference did being outside of America make in terms of your progress?
So in America, I had always enjoyed abundance, always. I come from a family that enjoys abundance, that is able to create abundance for themselves. And so moving here, leaving that, I gave up a BMW. I walked away from a BMW, a nice home. I was a travel nurse for a while. And I have the ability to create money on my own, just from my own natural skills. So I walked away from all of that into an abundance that I did not know truly existed. To come here and to experience true abundance. Because it's one thing to look around your house and see all the nice things that you have, but to step outside and to look around and know that you are provided for, because the coconut trees, the banana trees, the cassava, everything that the earth provides for you, the sea right there, coconut water, the river right there, everything, the huge leaves that you can turn into your roof and the sticks that you can for your foundation while you learn how to mix the clays. Everything that you need, it's in abundance and in nature. It is in nature. To see that, and to see people live so simply and be happy. The drive down here, down the mountains, through the villages, I was so proud to go from a BMW to a bus. It was, I was so appreciative to be able to experience that. I did not understand how, once I got here, the people wanted to, they're like, oh, we want to go to America. It's like, no. Why? we want to come here. Like, to be in America, you have to have a slave mentality. Excuse me. These are tears of joy.
Yeah, you're still purging, processing that. It's
tears of joy, because just to remember that feeling, it brings joy. But for the people to not appreciate what was right in their yard, like seriously, there are banana trees in the back that are just going to rot because there are too many. They're just too many. Enough for us and for the monkeys and for just for everything, you know. But to see that and to see a people that don't realize the wealth that is right here, it was saddening. It was actually saddening. But for me, it was also humbling. It was quite humbling because again, it comes from abundance, monetarily abundance, to where I now see that that's not where it's at. I don't even care. Today I don't even care. I don't even care about the money. I could not care any less than what I do right now about what goes on in the United States of America. It makes no difference to me about the fashion, about none of that. I don't care. Because of the peace that I have right now, I can pay for it. You cannot pay for the amount of peace that I have. That abundance that you speak of, I'd rather have it here than there. It's greater. It's greater when you realize that the abundance is not what you can hold on to. It's what's all around you. It's a great difference, and it's a change that happens mentally too. That's all in the whole process, because when you're at a certain point in your life and you can't see that or don't realize that, it's not even going to matter. Abundance doesn't even matter when you're thinking about what what's all around on the, you're holding on to. That abundance doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You can't take that with you. Peace.
Absolutely.
Peace, though, you can hold on to that in that next lifetime. You can come into peace. You leave with peace and you'll come into peace. That's how that works, that cycle. So yeah, I'd rather have this type of abundance than any other type. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that sense of liberation, you can't put it into words. It's a body feeling, it's a spirit feeling, it just is. It just isn't. Once you felt it, it's impossible, I think, to give up on that, because it's not for sale. But I also think that freedom is, you don't just rock up to a country and you're free. It doesn't happen like that, especially if you spent decades within a system. And what I love is that by you investing in healing, that is you acknowledging that actually there's a process. I was going to say work, but it's not work. There's a process that needs to be journeyed through daily in order to carry on that journey. And I'd love to know, what does that look like for you, and how did you set things up that was going to be your flow for however long it needed to be?
Actually, I did not set it up that way. When I first arrived, it was to help to start a village.
Wow.
And again, it was trauma happened within that first week, and then the ties had to be cut. And I knew that I had to start my fasting and my releasing. Within that, I began a group called Release and Reset because I knew that's what I had to do. It would be a process of releasing a lot of things and then resetting. I'm still releasing while I'm resetting, and I'm learning as I go, as I listen to spirit. Actually, I have hundreds of books here, and I had to close them all and tune into spirit and only listen to spirit. And that has helped me so much, not only on my journey, but just in life. Just the journey is life, but it has helped with my gifts and knowing that what I'm hearing is correct. You know, I could have died several times with some of the things that I've encountered here. You know, there are poisonous spiders and bugs and that we don't know about, that I've been bitten with, and seriously, arm turned black. But because I've listened to and connected with spirit, I know what herbs to grab, what herbs to put on, what to do. So for me, it looks different daily, because today I can be doing something and then tomorrow is totally different. Tomorrow it may be go to the beach, get in the water. It may be take a walk through the jungle. It may be today you are resting all day today. It may be 6 showers in a day. It's totally different from day to day, because I'm not sure what is purging out of me. Because remember, I'm healing, and when on the healing, this body is just a vehicle, and along the path it's picked up so many different passengers that is meant to do no good. So as I'm releasing those things, the body is doing a lot of different things. So there are days where I may not have the energy to do anything at all but rest, you know. So every day is different for me, and as it should be for everybody. It should not be every day should not be the same for you. That you, when you get into that habit of every day looking the same, what type of life are you really living? It should not be the exact same every single day. No.
And so when you left, did you have a clear picture as to what you wanted your life in Belize to look like, or did you step and see what happened?
I still don't know what my life is going to look like here in Belize. This is truly a faith walk. It truly is. The foresight that I saw, what I was shown, yeah, but to be literally in your dream, it's scary. It's scary to come up on things and be like, oh, this is what this was. You know, when I can remember what certain things happen, and it's like, oh, this is it. I don't know what I know what I'm going to be. I know who I am. I know what's to come. But walking along it, I don't know what it's going to be like. Even the house that I'm in is telling of that I'm on the right journey. This house is named for my children. The house is named Reverend D. Joan. There's a plaque here. That's why I'm looking. Reverend D. Joan Glover's house. My son's initial is DJ Glover.
Wow.
The initials, DJ Glover house. My son is the reason. I used to say my son was the reason why I live. Now these same initials are where I live. So it's like the different, I don't know what is to come, but I know that I'm protected and I'm guided in the right path as long as I'm doing my work. And what I'm doing, healing is the work. Helping others to heal is work. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. So my path has already been laid.
It's funny, I'm reading what I've saved as my screensaver. It just felt relevant. Ancestors said, if you know you're protected, move like it. Ain't that the truth?
Hello. And that's what you have to. I walked in the jungle with men I didn't know. All I had was a machete and my ancestors, but I knew I was protected. And when we came up out the jungle, there was one young lady with us, and she said, yeah, you are protected. Yeah, but if you either protected or crazy. To go in the jungle with total strangers with only my machete, you know, and not knowing anything. But yeah, I know that I'm protected, and you gonna know it too. you're gonna know it too. And that is how I have to move. I can't move anymore on the knowing that I'm protected, but you're not about to do something because I'm gonna do something back. I know that power as well. That took me in a dark place. You know, again, I know my power, but now that I've matured enough and gone through enough, and now that I'm balanced enough to utilize it in the way that it's supposed to be utilized, hey, it's only up. It's only up. Even when if there is a down in it's still because we riding on waves, baby.
All the time. All the time.
Riding on waves.
Yeah. And I think it's really important for people to see someone like you who is just glowing through it all. And not to say that every day is perfect. There's snake bites, the houses that you've had to move to, everything else. It's not that it's plain sailing, but you don't have to know every single thing. You do not have to have an Excel sheet of what you're going to do in week 1, month 1. I mean, you can, but it's not the only way. And it probably isn't going to be the most aligned or flowful way. And I think if you are giving up on what you had before, if you know that that's not it, create space for better to come. And it's so much about a mindset.
I spoke to a woman that I'm helping in the States right now. And she said, Vernita, I can't see you coming back. There's no way that you can come now that you have experienced what you're experiencing and the joy and the peace that you have. There's no way that you can come back. And I agree, not with America in the state that it is right now. There has to be major change, either for the States or for me. My elevation will have to be such in a way that I don't mind giving up some of that energy, right? That because you have to be at a certain level to be able to deal with the stuff that's going on there. Not only the things, but the people that are there, because there's a lot of low vibrations happening. But if I'm at a certain level, yeah, I wouldn't mind that my people died, and that's our land. That's our land. So I will return one day, but no time soon. I love it here.
Yeah, I have 2 questions. I've forgotten one of them. But what does do you have like a crew? Is there like a group of Vanitas that all like reinforce each other and share and hold circle? Like, what is it like to be on this journey? Do you have your people? Are you kind of navigating it alone? Because it can be lonely at times.
It can be my life is one of aloneness, of solitude. I have been misunderstood my entire life. When you call, I've been the one to call people out on their stuff. So when you do that your entire life, you basically are used to being alone. And I am used to being alone. I am so thankful for my daughter, because when I first stated that this is where I would be, again, nobody believed me. Nobody in my family believed me. They thought, why would I lie? Because I'm not a liar. But as it got closer to the time for me to leave, I actually got a downloads that I needed to leave sooner because something wasn't right. And so, that was worrisome for me. So it was, I had to amp it up and get here sooner because there were things going on. And my daughter, a few months before I left, was like, Mom, coming with you.
Wow.
It was like, I'm coming with you. And that right there, she has been such a blessing to me. She, on her journey here, she has found love, which is something I used to say my daughter was the reason why I loved, and she's showing me and teaching me, because I've been without a relationship. I have not been in a relationship for many years, but she is showing me love and how it develops. And what it looks like. And I'm so thankful because I wasn't able to show her, but she is able to show me. I'm so thankful for that. I do have several herbalists back in the States that I'm close with, and they help encourage me. I have a few family members, and I have a huge family, but I only have a few that I know have my back, which is very hurtful, but we move on. We move on because this blessing will be for them as well. What Spirit has shown me is for us all. It's for us all. It is for healing of the nation. So even though I only have a few that support what I have in the invisible,
It's hard to put it into words, isn't it? It's hard to put it into words.
the goosebumps that are the ancestors are here. I'm letting you know. What I have in the invisible is moving mountains. So the little support that I have, it's enough. It's enough. The support that I know is coming. The tears are because I already feel overwhelmed for what I know is about to come. And I'm so thankful. I'm thankful now for what is coming. So the little support that I have now, I'm so thankful for, because it allows me to not only heal and been able to heal for the last year and a half, it has allowed me to help others heal. Because when I'm at the point where I'm well enough, I do help others. I do help others. When I'm in the healing mode where it's taking too much of my energy, I can't. But when I'm feeling, real good and over, my flow is over, that abundance is overflowing, I can help others. And that's what the help that I receive has been able to do.
No, I love that. And I'm sure, like, from your perspective, brave doesn't come into it. It's just doing what you're called to do. But I think there is an element of bravery to kind of feel marginalized, to feel like you kind of got to pretend and to keep a lid on things. And then to step out of that, it does take courage. And yes, it might be the path that you were supposed to go down anyway, but so many people don't. So many people stay in the box. So many people stay in the shadows and just live a life of malfunction and everything else. So I just think the fact that you took that step, the fact that you followed those callings and you didn't just shut them down, I think it's so inspirational to others. And I think the more people who are open about that journey, who show that they make it happen, it doesn't necessarily have to happen perfectly, because there is no such thing as perfection. You just, day after day, as you say, you don't know what each day is going to look like, but you get up and you do what you're called to do. I just think the more people on planet Earth who are able to flow in that way, like, that's the game changer.
It is, because the more people that do that, the more they realize how many gifts they have, how magical they are, how incredible, amazing. People are able to do things that they don't even realize that they can do. Even with the simple things, you have somebody that's cooking right now that you are a chef. You can heal people with your food. No different than you got people that are cooking and they're killing people. Do the exact opposite. You don't realize that the food that you're cooking, they're killing the people. It's really good, but it's good in killing people. Make it good for them to live with that same food. Switch it up. But yeah, we have to walk in our light, and that way we can glow. We will be glowing when we walk in it. You're glowing. You're walking in your light. But people aren't doing that. So you see them looking down and dull, their skin is dull and their hair is breaking off. And, because they're not doing what they have been called, have been born to do. You're here for a reason.
Yeah.
Figure out, and we can figure out what we are here to do by just knowing what we love.
Yeah. And I have a lot of empathy with people who don't, because I didn't for a long time. And I think that analogy that you gave of the glass of water is like, no, stay in the water. That's where it's safe. Don't put your head above. Don't breathe the fresh air, because who knows what will happen.
Yeah.
But I think once you start to acknowledge that, once you start to see the myth and to push beyond that and to kind of just take little steps, that's when it just all starts to connect.
We float. So you can be on the water, you can above the water and below the water, but know that it's waves on the water though. And underneath too. I found out you can get seasick underneath the water while I was here. Who knew? I know now. So we have to know how to work through all of it. And the fact that we are able to be held underwater and survive lets us know how great we are. Because who can be us but us? They try, but only we are who we are. Only we are who we are. And we have to walk in who we are. Everybody else is trying to imitate us. Walk in who you know you are. And not trying to be someone else. I don't want to be you. I can't. I cannot. As talented as you are, as many gifts, as beautiful as you are, I don't even want to look like you. Not with all this. Why? We have to know that though. We have to know that. And we have to love us first. That's number one that I think people forget to do. We love so many things without loving who we are first.
Yeah, accepting
all of who we are. The accepting of all of who we are, good, bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, and then accepting that you're an expression of spirit. Like,
yes,
where else can you go but up? I think.
Yeah.
And so what advice, I feel like I've asked this question already, maybe it's been at the back of my mind, or maybe I haven't asked it, but what advice would you give to help people begin to unplug, begin to get to the position where they are able to feel more clearly and to hear more clearly? There's the acknowledging the existence of fear and not being dominated by that sort of paradigm. But what would you advise to someone who's come to you, who knows they want to make a shift, but they don't quite know how to? Because I think it's in the jungle, aside from the guys with machetes and the spiders, etc. In some ways, it's easier because you're removed from it. But when you're in it, how do you begin to unplug?
Well, no matter what, you will have to change your environment. No matter what. I changed mine in a major way. I changed mine, just up and just plant myself here. But you can do that right where you are. Buying plants, because that's like introducing plants into your life. That's healing in itself, taking care of a plant. That's like taking care of a whole nother person. It's an exchange of energy. But changing that environment, moving things around, cleansing yourself and everything around you, from the people to what you watch on TV to the books that you read. Just everything, it needs to be cleansed, but especially that digestive system, because that is holding on to so much. And the gut is where we have 3 brains. this one, and then the one in the gut. And the one in the gut is the most important because that's where your intuition is. That's where you get the first signals that something is wrong is in your gut. So if your gut is filled with crap and things that it's not supposed to, you getting distorted messages. So you need to cleanse that out first and foremost. Knowing what you eat, like you have to be aware, like that awareness of everything, what you put into your mouth, what comes out of your mouth, is very, very important. This journey is a lifestyle. It's not something that, oh, I'm just going to do this. It's truly a lifestyle. It is a lifestyle. And healing is as well, because that's what the body does every single day, all day. It's cleansing itself, each cell. It's trying to cleanse itself. But what we do, especially in America, we're adding on the pollutants. We continue to add on the pollutants. So cleansing is very important. Changing that environment. Stop watching the news.
I'd agree. As a former journalist, as a former news journalist, I would agree.
Stop
Why?
watching the news.
Don't, no.
They are putting a narrative for you when you have your own story. Write your own narrative. Begin to do that. And that's what we've not done that in so long. We've allowed others to write our story. Start writing your own story. Write out what you want to happen. Write out what you don't want to happen, as well, because that's important to know what you don't want in your life, what you're not going to accept anymore. Speak those things out loud, so that and in the mirror, so that you're telling yourself what you are now accepting and not accepting. That's very important. But the major thing is cleansing, that coming out of fear, releasing the burdens of the trauma and the guilt. So forgiving yourself is very important on this journey, especially at the beginning, because we realize that we've accepted lies. We've accepted a lot and done a lot to ourselves without even realizing what we're doing to ourselves. You know, I talk to women a lot that don't realize even the things that they put on their hair and their skin is damaging to them. You know, you don't realize that when you've been lied to your whole life. You know, so you have to forgive yourself and others on this journey. Just that the coming out of fear, the forgiveness, the cleansing, nourishment. We like nourishment. And that's what the Caribbeans, they provide that nourishment, that vitamin D. I've been saying I'm a tropical person since I was a kid. Like seriously, like Michigan in the winters, it's like, I can't do this. I'm a tropical person. Now let it get 60 degrees. I'm freezing, like, oh my gosh, because I'm in the tropics and I know that this is tropical person. But the nutrients that we lack, that we require, that come from plants, we need to get back to that. We need to get back to who we are. We are part of nature. And we've been removed from that. So get back to that.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Suggestion.
I think the last part of what you're saying really echoes with the part that I think is absolutely fundamental, which is just cultivating a relationship with your ancestors. I know a lot of people, their heads are going to start spinning like ancestors, devil, whatever. I'm not even responding to any comments. Nope. But I know that you and we first connected in December. We literally just managed to schedule this meeting yesterday. And a large part of why it's happened and why the conversation has gone in the direction that it has is because of the work that I've been doing to just be like, okay, I'm here. What needs to come out? What do people need to hear? And that's not me. I mean, yes, I'm a journalist. I'm a trained journalist, but there's no way that I could have known, like, we haven't even spoken before. there was no way that I could have known that you were going to say what you were going to say, and that it would be just so applicable to every single human being on the planet. And that's just when you're willing to be of service for what needs to happen. Like, we're all expressions of energy that I believe is for the greater good. And when you allow yourself to be that vehicle, when you allow to connect into those who have come before, like, yes, there's a history of trauma and oppression, but there's also such brilliance and resilience. And to be able to draw on that in the land where my ancestors have lived is like, I'm on fire.
You know,
and it's not about ego. It's not about me being great. It's about being able to happen.
No.
That's what being
Let me tell you,
about.
I have been asked, because a lot of Americans are Blaxiting to Africa. That's where a lot of people are headed. So I was asked before, why not Africa? My journey will end in Africa. That's the end game. I believe for a lot of us, the end game is the motherland. But my people are native to the Americas. And so I am still in the Americas, because that up there, too much blood. The trees cry out. Too much of our blood has been shed in this land. So I had to come further south, because my energy is still needed, but just not up there. Come a little south, help this part of the land. And that's where people have to know that when you are connected to the land, she will speak to you to let you know where to go. When I was a child, I was repping Egypt. I'm going back to the motherland, somewhere along the West Coast. That's where I'm gonna be. But no, my great grandmother was named India, so we could remember that is where we're from there. Turtle Island is where we're from, so we wouldn't forget. So that is definitely my land. This is our land. And I'm not called to Africa. I was called to stay this part south and watch from afar. Watch from afar.
For me, like, delving into my ancestry, there's Benin, Nigeria, Mali. So I know where, and I'm sure at some point I'll be there. But for now, it's like you. I'm in this is where I need to be. This is where I'm nourished. This is where I flow.
And the way that I felt, again, coming here, and the welcome that I got, and even like the people they at first thought that I did, welcome home. And it's like, no, I'm not really from here. But yes, I really am. This is part of my story. This is part of it. I saw it a long time ago. This is where the healing needed to take place. And again, the steps along the way have shown me that I'm right where I need to be, even with some of the things that we didn't go into that happened, at the very beginning. It's irrelevant, because I'm here. I'm supposed to be here. And I know this. So yeah, and it's nothing, no ego or nothing, but no. We're walking our power.
Yeah.
Walking our power. That's yeah. So that is where I am.
I love this story. As I talk, I think, am I ever going to do another interview again? Vernita has said it all. There's nothing else to say about moving, because ultimately it's that. It's about that. It's about being in your power, aligning.
And when you are connected with your ancestors, and again, so many are waking up now and knowing that what we've been taught was a lie, and that what they're hearing is for real. Like, what they're feeling is for real. What they're seeing, some people are even seeing, is for real. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Only call upon the high vibrating ancestors, because you got ancestors that's low vibrating too. That's why you got a lot of people with foolishness right now. So it's the low vibrating ones. But those high vibrating ones are here to help us along the way. Call on them. Allow them to help you along. Know that they are here to help. That's why they're here. And then we've lost so many in the last couple of years. Guess what? They're there to help you. There are those that they're there to help you. So use their help. I got a whole army.
Yeah, we all do.
Try
We
me
just
if you
need to know. We
look,
just need
right.
to wake up.
Try me if you want to. Try me if you want to.
Yeah.
I got an army, and we got a job to do. We have a job to do, y'all. And the more of us walk in that, the faster we'll see the power that we really have. It's amazing the things that we are able to do that are coming back online. Yeah, I'm saying, let me shut up. That's what I'm here. Let me shut up, because we can, when on different subjects, when it comes to herbs and when it comes to spirituality, I can talk for hours. Yeah. Without an issue, for hours, because that's what's natural for me. That's what works for me. That's what's true for me.
Yeah, no, for me too. But I also, I know what it's like to be on the other side, looking like, they're really weird. Why are they so spiritual? Like, what? So I know what it's like. And this is why I want to have the conversation, to just get things like, I look relatively like, yes, I got dreads. I used to straighten my hair. I was like the biggest whatever beforehand. So yeah, I guess I look slightly alternative, but I'm a pretty regular person. And if someone like me can be like, okay, this is essential. It's not like some nice to have. It's just a part of existing and existing well as a human being. The more people who can get their heads around it, the better. And if I seem a bit weird, so be it. I remember having a conversation with my coach back in November, and saying to her, like, yeah, I'm like having these conversations about people moving, and it's very practical. And people want to know how to like apply for a passport or find their property. And like, that's okay. But like the real moving to be in alignment, the moving to be in a space where there's less restriction to connecting with spirit. That's really what excites me. But if I talk about that, people are going to think I'm weird. Like, what are they going to think? And here we are, an hour in, just
right on a half-hour interview.
Exactly, just letting it flow. Because
look, even as you talk about that, Zoe, I'm remembering how when I first came in, the birds were coming. Mm-hmm. Birds were coming to my windows. And it's like, the heck is going on? Like, they would literally just sit there and be singing, and realizing that, or even remembering that the telepathy part of who we used to be, and the fact that we were connected with the animals, and the birds would bring messages. And I'm sitting there like, y'all just talking up a storm. But I can't understand you. Don't know what you're saying. But sitting there and knowing that these messages were coming through, these birds, like they knew that they could feel that energy. And moving to my last place, which no birds, and I know why now. No birds, to moving here, and the birds sitting right outside of my door at certain times and giving such a beautiful song for me every single day. Yeah, just a beautiful song. And I'll go and I'll watch it. Just watch it sing for me. I have my own concerts. My entertainment is different. My distractions, even you know how the distractions people were distracted. My distractions are the butterflies, the sound of the howling monkeys, I'm chasing around watching the butterflies play with each other. That's how I'm distracted in my day. It's totally different. And I love it. I love it.
Yeah, for sure. I have them in my house. I have birds in my house. 2 weeks ago, I had a hummingbird in my house. I'm like, thank you. That prayer's been answered. I had a crab crawling around in my, like while I was sleeping. Like, it's pretty in your face. It's not like a tap on the shoulder. It's like, listen. But you gotta open yourself up to it. You gotta
you appreciate that you see things differently on this journey. Because I was even at the point where it's like, oh, do I even want to kill a bug? Because
Right?
I know how connected we are and
Mhm.
how spirit is everything, everything. Um, every living thing, even the rocks,
Mhm.
because the stones have energy. The stones have energy, even the rocks are part of who the big picture is, or what the big picture is. But I'm sorry, I just got distracted.
That's okay. That's
I just got
okay.
distracted by phone at the distractions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm so appreciative for this journey. And like you said earlier, the courage, I had never even looked at myself until a couple of weeks ago when I was dealing with a bite and pulling stuff out and watching it in amazement. Like, but she's like, you are amazing. Like, because others would look at that and be scared right at the hospital. But here I am knowing what the body is doing and watching the process that the body is actually healing itself. And I'm watching it in real time, like, ooh, look at this. But if you were not in tune, you would be scared and right off to the doctor for them to cover it up, and then make you sick for longer. But these experiences, I'm thankful for. I'm truly thankful for. Somebody just called. I'm truly thankful for because I'm able to see. I'm able to see without the filter that America and even throughout the world has put up. There are filters put up so that you don't see you for who you truly are,
Mhm.
which is
And
a
there's a lot
great
of
thing.
money and power invested in keeping those filters up.
It truly is. It truly is. I'm so thankful for this great awakening.
Yeah. Vernita, we could talk for hours and maybe we'll have to do another session. As we wrap up, I'm feeling like the one book, if people are like, okay, I've listened to these ladies, maybe, maybe not. I want to read a little bit more about it. I would say the one book that just totally helped me to level up is Of Water and the Spirit by Malidoma Somé. If you haven't read it, check it out. I think in terms of people being people of African origin, being aware of our power, being aware of the importance of being aligned to nature, that, yeah, read that. It might not answer
I'm
every
trying,
question you have.
I'm actually trying to think of, because I was doing a lot of audiobooks before I came. And I'm trying to remember if that's one of them that I
It is an
listened to.
audiobook. It is also an audiobook, but it's a small book. It's like maybe 150 pages, so you can read it in a weekend. But yeah, for anyone watching who has questions, that is the book that I would recommend. I had the honor of having a divination with Malidoma before he passed last year, and yeah, it's truth. I think that you come to a certain point where things just resonate, and you know what's truth and what's not, and that's.
And that is true. That is true. You come to that point where it's like, you know what? This, where you have to listen to spirit, because that's what you want. That is what you know. And it's no longer a belief like I'm thinking, because a belief is a thought. You maybe not, but when you know something,
Yeah.
It's a within type of thing. You don't know how you just know. So yeah, I'm going to see if I have read that. I probably have. And I'm not going to recommend any books right now, because I've read so many, and to try to pick one off the top of my head is a no-go. My thing is going within and knowing, because again, I had to close the books in order to know that what I'm listening to or what I'm hearing is correct. I will open the books for confirmation, which I had to also learn. Don't even do that, because the confidence, but it would always, I'll open the book and it's like, oh, I was right. So trusting yourself is something that I recommend, is that intuition. Spot on, y'all. Trust yourself.
Yeah.
Trust yourself in this process.
And it's a muscle. You have to flex it. You're not gonna, I mean, maybe you might be very blessed and it works without fail and you don't question it, but give yourself the opportunity to see.
Yeah.
Brave. Brave.
This has been wonderful.
It's been awesome. It's been awesome. And I honestly, if you're the sort of person who's like, this isn't Christian, I mean, fair play, but I'm not going to respond to you in the comments because that's really not what I'm here for.
Yeah, please don't. I'm a pastor's daughter. So, get into spirituality, y'all, because religion is man-made. It is man-made. And I've studied religions. And it's just this journey, y'all. Once I start telling my story, it is quite amazing now that I think about it. Man, I am very courageous.
Very courageous. And I think
we all are, though. We all have that, because we are great people. So, but we need to start walking in that greatness. You can't get touched. You protected. You are protected. You made it this far. You have made it this far.
Yeah.
Come on now. Come on. You made it this far.
Beautiful. A beautiful note to end on. If people want to get in touch with you, Vernita, what's the best way? And recognize this as a lady who is committed to rest and healing. So let's get that out there first. But at the times as and when you are open to holding space for others, what's the way that they can do that? Because you have a YouTube channel, is that right?
I did start a YouTube channel. I finally, y'all, I've been told for like 15 years, you need a YouTube channel. I finally started a YouTube channel. But I'm an introvert. Hard to believe, but I am an introvert. And I'm fine with being alone, as we discussed. But I do know that this journey was not just for me. Everything that I have experienced, I need to share. And so my YouTube channel is The Herbalist Bae. I believe that you might be able to reach it under Vernita T.
Okay, I'll put the link in the description so people can subscribe.
Thank you. And it is new, so I will be adding the content weekly. I'm gonna try. I also am on Facebook. That is where I usually load things on Facebook. I do have a Facebook group called Release and Reset with the Herbalist Bae. It is a private group, so you would have to, because that is where that's where I had to protect my space, my healing space. But I do share a lot of my healing techniques and what I use, the different herbs in that group. So yeah, that's how you can reach me. The website is soon to come with herbal products. Yeah.
I love it. Vernita, thank you so much for, I'm a stranger from the internet. You've never met me. You didn't know anything about me, but yet you took the leap of faith to be like, yeah, I'll give up my Monday morning to talk to this woman on the other side.
And I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad that I did.
I'm glad this conversation is going to go out to other people. It might resonate with some, it might highly irritate others, but I needed this conversation. I needed this conversation as confirmation that, keep on making those steps. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm so glad that I can know that's not selfish, because I'm here to help serve. I'm in service. So if I could help one person, that's enough. That is enough. So just the fact that this conversation helped you, I'm thankful for that, because it has helped me. It truly has helped me. So I'm thankful to you, Zoe.
Thank you so much.